Now, last year, I reviewed a really great budget-level 2-in-1 convertible from Lenovo that didn't break the bank, but brought a lot of unique features that we don't normally see at a pretty good price. Now, it was the Lenovo Yoga 6. It was the first gen of that product. It had a fabric-type cover on the lid, and it brought a lot of bang for your buck. So I was really excited to take delivery of its follow-up here for 2022. It's the Yoga 6 Gen 2, and I've been putting it through its paces for the past week, and very impressive. Now, they went from a 4000 series Ryzen processor to a 5000 series this year, not the 6000. It also has a new 16:10 Full HD display as opposed to a 16:9 from last year. It's a little bit better display, and you also get a great price. Right now, you can get it for $599 over at Lenovo.com, which is a great doorbuster price sale that they're having going on right now. And they also put in a really nice Full HD webcam, which is really great, not something we normally see at this price point. Let's see if it all comes together to make it worth your money. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the Lenovo Yoga 6 Gen 2 here for 2022. Coming up. Now, before we get to the unboxing, I want to let everybody know, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, I'm not being paid by Lenovo. I'm not being sponsored by Lenovo. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Lenovo is not getting copy approval. They're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. Now, this review unit is on loan from Lenovo, and once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Now, as far as pricing is concerned, right now over at Lenovo's website, they're having a doorbuster sale, selling this for $599.99. That's a starting price, and to me, this is a steal considering you're getting that Ryzen 5 processor, you're getting the really nice display, you're getting that Full HD camera we'll get into in a little bit, and all the other features that you don't normally see at this price point. And for those that want to get it at Best Buy, the unit that I'm reviewing here today comes in at $749. I think that's the normal price for what you could expect here. But again, I'll leave links for all of these in the description below, especially that sale price over at Lenovo. Again, check out that link below. And with the specs and pricing out of the way, let's find out what you get inside the box. Let's open it up. Now, opening this up, you're greeted by the unit itself. We'll get to that in a moment, but you do get a 45-watt USB-C power adapter, and you also get the extension cord. And of course, you get some documentation. Now, holding the unit for the first time, you're going to notice the fabric cover on the lid. They're calling this the dark teal. It's got a really nice feel to it, and like last year, it's pretty durable. So this is a pretty interesting look for this laptop. And the body's made of recycled aluminum, which you'll like to see helps out with the environment, and it's rock solid in terms of very little flex in the chassis and good build. And it's also pretty portable, coming in at 1.37 kilograms or a little bit above 3 pounds, making it very easy to take with you on the go. Okay, let's check out the port selection. We're going to start off on the left side. We get two USB-C 3.2 Gen 1 ports that are full function. They support power delivery, display port out, and data transfer. Next to that is an HDMI 2.0 port, and next to that is a 3.5 millimeter headphone microphone combo jack. Moving over to the right side is a micro SD card reader and two USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 ports. I would say all in all, a pretty nice port selection. Now, to get inside this laptop, there are 6 T5 Torx screws. You remove all of them and then pry off the bottom plate with either a guitar pick or a pry tool, and that's pretty much it. Pop off that bottom plate and you're in. Now, as far as the RAM is concerned, it's soldered into the motherboard. That means you cannot upgrade it as the user, so make sure you get enough RAM for your needs. Having said that, it is LPDDR4 RAM, and my review unit has 8 gigabytes of RAM running in dual channel mode. Now, the SSD is user upgradable, and as you can see, it's PCIe Gen 3 SSD speeds, not the faster Gen 4 that we've been seeing here in 2022. Not surprised given the price point, but decent speeds nonetheless.
Now this has Wi-Fi 6 along with Bluetooth 5.2, and as you notice, it's slotted in, not soldered in, so you can change it out down the road, which is good. Now as far as the connections and the speed so far between both have been excellent. No issues on that front. Now, there's only one option when it comes to the display, and it's a 13.3-inch Full HD IPS display with a resolution of 1920 by 1200. And yes, that means it has a 16:10 aspect ratio. Last year, it was a 16:9 aspect ratio, so I like the move to the 16:10. You'll see more on the display. You'll do less scrolling when it comes to web browsing. Now, the metrics on this display are really good. Got deep blacks, good white points, good contrast, and it has really good color accuracy under 2, which is what we like to see, and it has decent coverage of the color gamut. You're looking at 100% sRGB, 77% Adobe RGB, 78% of the DCI P3 wide color gamut, and 72% NTSC. These numbers are a little bit better than last year's model, and I would say it's a decent choice if you are doing color grading, Lightroom, Photoshop, video editing, although not the best in this category, of course, but not bad for this price point. And it's a little bit brighter than last year's model, coming in at 295 nits. Now, Lenovo claims that this can get as bright as 300 nits. I didn't quite get there, but 295 nits I'll take. Now, it is a glossy display, so you will notice some glare and reflections depending on your lighting conditions. That is something to be aware of. It wasn't too bad, but it's something to take notice of. And since this is an IPS display, the viewing angles were very good. I thought the touchscreen was responsive. We'll get into that in a moment. And it does have pen support, although there is no pen included in the box. That is a separate purchase, but I was able to use an HP pen that I had lying around, and it worked perfectly fine for taking notes and sketching out artwork. Now, one thing to note, this is also a Dolby Vision display. Watching Netflix, Amazon, YouTube has been great on this display. No complaints whatsoever. Overall, I think this is a really nice display, especially at a $599 starting price. I don't think you can go wrong with this display, that's for sure. So this is the front-facing camera on the new Yoga 6 Gen 2 here for 2022. And it's a 1080p camera, full HD. It's a IR camera. That means you can log in with face recognition with Windows Hello. In addition to that, there is a fingerprint scanner located below the keyboard. That worked well, registering my finger each and every time I used it. Now, what do you think about the video quality? What do you think about the audio quality of the internal mics? I think it's actually pretty good, especially at this great price. It doesn't break the bank. This is a great laptop, especially a lot of bang for the buck. But I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in that comments section below. Now, this being a 2-in-1 convertible means you can put this into the different modes. You got the tent mode, which is great for consuming media, watching Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, even recipes in the kitchen. It worked great. Same could be said for the stand mode, or what I like to call presentation mode. It worked great for that as well. Now, of course, you could always put it into the tablet mode. Great for use with a pen. Of course, the pen, as I mentioned earlier, is not included, but I was able to use it with my HP pen that I've been using, and it worked fine. Again, taking notes, sketching an artwork, no complaints on that front. And for those wondering, no, you cannot open the lid with one finger since this is a 2-in-1 convertible. The hinges are not designed to do that because it needs to be able to go 360 degrees and have pretty sturdy hinges at the same time. But once you do open it up, I like the keyboard, the familiar smile-shaped keys we get with the Lenovo Yoga keyboards and that we've seen in the past. I like it. Pretty good tactile feedback, good key travel. I've had no complaints, and I absolutely love the backlight on this. It gets pretty bright against the dark keys, easy to differentiate, easy to see the contrast, and it helps you get work done in a dark room or a dimly lit environment. It all worked well. And I thought the touchpad was nicely sized, very responsive, 2-finger scrolling worked well, all the gestures worked well, no complaints on that front. The Yoga 6 Gen 2 sports a 59 watt-hour battery, and it did 11 hours and 3 minutes on my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 150 nits. So real-world mixed usage, you can look at anywhere between 7 to 8 hours, maybe a little bit more, depending on what you're doing. But please keep in mind, everybody's use case is a little bit different, so your mileage may vary. And it took 1 hour and 52 minutes to give you a full charge with the supplied 45-watt USB-C power adapter.
Now, this is running the AMD Ryzen 5 5500U processor, a 6-core processor we've seen many times before on this channel, so I'm not going to delve too deep into the performance. It's a tried and true processor. It's definitely a solid performer, but it's not going to blow you away, especially when you compare it to some 12th gen Intel processors and 6000 series processors we've seen here in 2022 so far. So don't think that this is going to be a great gaming laptop, because it's not. It only has integrated Radeon graphics, and you're not going to get great performance out of it in terms of playing AAA titles on their highest settings. It's just not what this is designed to do. And as I showed in previous videos, you can play some of the older titles if you lower the settings. You definitely get some playable frame rates. But again, this is not a gaming laptop. I needed to repeat that because people will buy this and say, why can't I play those AAA titles? It's because it doesn't have a discrete GPU. But it's perfectly fine to do everyday tasks: Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, consuming media, watching Netflix, Amazon, and YouTube, even in 4K, has been great on this. I've had no issues, no stuttering, no hiccups. It worked really well. And I hardly noticed any thermal throttling when I ran the Prime 95 stress test to see if this will thermal throttle under heavy load, and it would reach a core temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, maintaining great clock speeds throughout, so very little, if any, thermal throttling detected. Now, when it comes to the fan noise, I never saw it go above 47, 48 decibels, and that's when it was under maximum load. And when it came to surface temperatures, it stayed relatively cool, although there are a couple of hot spots above the keyboard and on the underside, as you see here. Now, this does have top-firing speakers, one on each side of the keyboard, as you see here. Those are the speaker grills, of course. It does have Dolby Atmos to help with the enhanced spatial audio that you'd want to see, but I thought it was lacking a little bit of bass and volume. I thought it could be a little bit better. Now, to give you an example, let's give it a listen. Okay, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the Lenovo Yoga 6 Gen 2 here for 2022? A lot of things to like here. Nice 13.3-inch touch display. Nice move to that 16:10 aspect ratio. Remember, last year it was a 16:9 aspect ratio. Full HD display, of course. It does have a decent keyboard, really good touchpad. Long battery life, really good, especially if you're on the go. Pen support is great on this, although it doesn't come with the pen, but it does support the pen. And it does have some really nice materials made from recycled materials, so definitely helps out in the environment department. It has upgradable SSD and wireless LAN, so as the user you can expand those out or change those out if you have to. And it runs cool and quiet even under heavy load. That's been pretty good. And I thought it had a pretty good port selection, and it has a really nice full HD webcam. Both the audio and the video were very good. Now, the things I'm not crazy about: plastic lower shell, would have been nice to have aluminum in that department. Speakers could use a little bit more bass, and the screen could be brighter. And it is a glossy display, so if you're going to use it outdoors, you may have some issues with glare and reflections. But at a $599 starting price right now over at Lenovo's website, this thing is a steal, especially for the price to performance ratio that you get. But there's a lot to like here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give this a score of 89%, making the Lenovo Yoga 6 Gen 2 here for 2022 definitely worth your money. 4, 3, 2, 1. So what do you think about the Yoga 6 here for 2022? You still get that teal color on this, that nice finish, that fabric finish, actually really nice. Pretty durable, actually. It held up well from last year, and I expect the same out of this year. Nice port selection, 2 USB-C ports, 2 USB-A ports, an HDMI port, covers all the bases. This is plastic on the bottom, by the way, made out of recycled materials. The other parts are aluminum, and of course, this is that fabric that we were talking about. Really solid build, very little flex in the chassis. It's running the Ryzen 5 5500U this time around, as opposed opposed to the 4000 series. So pretty good in that regard, although it's not the 6000 for this year, likely because of supply and because they wanted to keep the price down. And performance is solid. You know, you're going to be able to do everyday tasks, Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, no problem. Don't expect to do AAA gaming, as I mentioned. It's not what this is meant to do. But for those type of tasks and consuming media, it has been great. Watching 4K videos and YouTube and the like has been great. Great battery life on this. I saw over 11 hours on my continuous web surfing test. Expect a minimum of 7 to 8 hours for sure on this, depending, of course, on what you're doing. So everybody's use case is a little bit different, so your mileage may vary. But great battery life on this. And it also has decent speakers, although I thought it lacked a little bit of volume and it could have used a little bit more bass. What do you think about the Yoga 6? Right now, over at Lenovo's website, you could pick it up with a starting price of $599. That's the same model I just reviewed today, which is normally $700 or $750. So that's a great deal. For those interested, I'll leave a link in the description below for more information and where you can buy one. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.